Good morning, and welcome to Mental Health Monday. I am your host, Fran, and I want to say thank you for joining me this morning. If you would, I'd like for you to go ahead and share this video. Yes, please do share Mental Health Monday videos. I really appreciate your support of Mental Health Monday. This month, in honor of Black History Month, we are highlighting various psychologists or players in the field of psychology and counseling who are African American and have contributions to the difficulty here. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. All right, so let's get started. The first person, what we've been doing for the past couple of Mondays is highlighting different African American Black contributors to the field of psychology and counseling. Today we're going to share about Robert Lee Williams II and Dr. Hubert Lohman, Huberta Jackson Lohman. So I've been trying to be very intentional about sharing these people with you and making you aware of them. If you have not already, please go ahead and share this video. I see Tara, I see Andre, good morning, and thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you for joining me. So we're gonna go ahead and get started and look at Dr. Robert Lee Williams II. He's actually still living. He was born in 1930, and he is well known for his efforts in educating African American children, as well as studying cultural bias against African American students present in standardized testing with focus on IQ tests. Hey Gwen, hi hon, hey Miss Sheila. So he, if you notice, these last couple of people that I've shared have had something to do with, have had their focus to do with racial bias. And that's one of the things that we, as African Americans, those of us who are watching that are African American, have faced at some point in our lives. Maybe not to the same degree as some other people have faced it, but we all in some way probably have faced racial bias, especially in the educational setting. So I think it's interesting that the two people that I chose last week we're looking at. His father worked as a millwright and died when he was 5 years old. His mother was a domestic engineer. After high school, he went to Dunbar Junior College in Arkansas and dropped out after a year because he was discouraged about a low IQ test that he received. So he married Miss Ava Kemp, and together they had 8 children. He later enrolled in Philander Smith College, where he graduated in 1953. He went on to go to Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan, where he obtained his master's degree in educational psychology in 1955. He earned a doctorate later in clinical psychology at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri in 1961. He served as the assistant chief psychologist, come on chief, for the Veterans Administration Hospital in St. Louis from 1961 to 1966. Good morning, everybody who's joining. So much for joining me, and please share as you're coming on. Today we are talking about, in honor of Black History Month, Dr. Williams. First, we're talking about Robert Lee Williams. And so just to get back to his contributions, he held several other professional roles, but most recent, I should say, he has not been, I was saying most recent, but that's not the most recent, I apologize. One of the things that he did do, though, was he served as a president of the association. He actually helped to organize the Association of Black Psychologists in 1968. Come on, yes. Then he presented a paper in the American Psychological Association. For those of us who have worked in the field of psychology and counseling, he is to our writing. It kind of frames the way that we present our documentation in the field of counseling and psychology. So he also developed a 100-question intelligence test called the Black Intelligence Test of Cultural Homogeneity, also known as the BITCH 100. So the test was used in a cultural context that was more familiar to African Americans, and as a result, white test takers scored lower than African American test takers because it was made in such a way, or crafted in such a way, that African Americans could express their learning style in a more, in a healthier, in a better way. So it has become an integral part of a body of testing, and it deals with racial and cultural biases that negatively impact test scores of African American takers. He is the person who termed different Black linguistic practices as Ebonics. So this is the man who termed different words that we use in the African American community as Ebonics. So he's done quite a bit of work in the field of psychology and counseling, Dr. Robert Williams II. So let's celebrate Dr. Robert Williams II. Yes, very, very interesting indeed. Good morning to everybody who's still coming in. The next person we're going to highlight this morning is Dr. Huberta Jackson Lohman. She served as a full professor of psychology in the Department of Psychology at Florida A&M University in Tallahassee. Is currently serving as the president of the Black Psychologists Association. So she has taught graduate and undergraduate courses in that department, the psychology department for FAMU. And this is the only psychology department in the U.S. that claims an African-centered thrust. Wow, that's amazing. She is the editor of the anthology African American Women Living at the Crossroads of Gender, Race, Class, and Culture. That book was published in 2014, and she, which I already mentioned, she currently serves as the president of the National Association of Black Psychologists, and it is composed of psychologists who are of African ancestry in the United States and around the world. She is certified as a diplomat and fellow in African-centered psychology. She has an ongoing commitment to health and well-being of the Black community, families, and youth. And prior to relocating to Florida, she resided in Pittsburgh, where there she served as the director of the Mayor's Commission on Families and co-director of the Institution for Black Families. So she was also a co-founder of the Sankofa Institute of Pittsburgh, and she has also served as an active member of the Advocates for African American Students in the Pittsburgh public school system. So there's quite a bit that Dr. Jackson Lohman has been instrumental in. She's been instrumental in training emotional emancipation circles in the greater Tallahassee community, which are self-help groups developed by CHN in collaboration with the African Black Psychology Association of Black Psychologists, and they are designed to assist the Black community in recovering from the myth of Black inferiority and lie of white superiority, and to foster reclaiming our cultural values and ways of functioning. So, shout out to Dr. Huberta Jackson Lohman. So can we celebrate our Black history trailblazers this morning, Dr. Huberta Jackson Lohman and Dr. Robert Lee Williams II. So I'm so happy to have these trailblazers as a part of our history in the field of psychology and counseling. And I would like to also share some community resources that are Black owned and operated. One of the resources that I'd like to share this morning is Miss Leticia Sessoms. And Miss Leticia Sessoms is the owner of Compassion Community Services, and she just recently opened her offices in Norfolk. So she provides intensive in-home services, as well as some other services in the city of Norfolk, Virginia. Also, I want to highlight, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I'm thinking of it. Well, while I think of the other one, Lassiter and Associates, which is located in Suffolk and in Virginia Beach. Just by 5 in Virginia Beach. The owner there is Mr. Ron Taylor. Yes, Just by 5. They provide mental health skill building services, intensive in-home services. I believe they provide outpatient therapy now as well. So those are some other services in the community that we can access to assist us with our mental health needs. So just wanted to share a little bit of our history this morning, and also share some resources in the community that can assist you with having your mental health needs met. So, anybody have questions? Anybody got questions? Let me shout out some more people. I see Gwen, Ariel, Brandy, Chanel, Katrina, Ryan, Miss Opal. All right. No questions, no comments? All right. Well, thank you for joining me this morning for Mental Health Monday as we highlighted some of our Black history, psychology, and counseling. And thank you for joining me for Mental Health Monday. Make sure you're sharing the videos. Also, if you have questions or comments about what you're learning or hearing, please make sure you leave them in the comments section on the video or in my inbox, and I will be glad to answer them for you. Thank you so much, Andre. I appreciate that. Hey, Keith, we're wrapping up. But if you like, you can go and watch the replay and also share the video. So with that being said, I want to thank you for joining me for Mental Health Monday. Today, we're doing the Black History edition in commemoration of Black History Month. So I want to thank you for joining me. And I want to remind you that your mental health matters. Have a great week.